Hi, I'm Sophie and welcome to my world. Today is a Q&A and guess what? This is number 23. Can you believe it? Number 23. Doesn't seem possible that you guys keep coming up with all these questions for me. But if you have a question after listening to Q&A number 23, make sure you write it in the comments down below. And I do answer every single question that has not been asked before, which is a lot, but there you have it. Promise to answer if you ask it, and it hasn't been asked before. Q&A number 23, getting started right now. Here we go, without any further delay. Kawaii Kayla 8 asks, what was your first duct tape color and design? So I remember my first duct tape color and design was the flames, because I went to Michael's and they had, for the first time, I saw this whole rack of duct tape, and what jumped out at me was the flames. And I used them it was for a boy's birthday party, and I bought those, and I was like, this is awesome, I'm gonna use these for the party. And that was the beginning of my duct tape career, because that's where I actually learned how to make duct tape roses at that party, because a little boy taught me how to do it at the party. So the flames, that was my first pattern. Ivan GM from the Philippines says, if you could meet anyone from history or still alive today, who would it be? I would love to meet J.K. Rowling. I think she's the most amazing person. I think not only is she a great writer, I love her stuff, I love her mysteries, I love her story, her own personal story, but I love what she does as a person. I love how much she gives back to the community and to the world with what she does. And I just think she's an awesome person, and I would love to meet her. I mean, I'm sure she meets so many billion people, but I would love to meet her. I just think she's an inspiration. I just think she's the coolest, and I think she's so creative, and I love all of her books. Okay, Tuxedo, all with caps, asks, how are you so good at crafts? If I attempt to make half of the amazing things you craft, it would be a mess. Okay, let me just set one thing straight, and I mean this totally, honestly, 100%. I mess up all the time. You should see how much I mess up. I make more mistakes than anybody I teach. I make so many mistakes that the people who work with me, just when I'm creating something new, just shake their head and walk away and come back 3 hours later, because they know I'm just gonna mess up and mess up and mess up and mess up until I get it right. So to answer your question, Tuxedo, it's practice, practice, practice. There's a joke that they used to say, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. Well, that's what it is. I mean, it's just practice, practice, practice. I do it every day. I'm using crafting skills every single day, and I will tell you there are so many different crafting skills out there, and I only master a few of them, a tiny little few of them. I can't crochet. I'd love to crochet. I can't weld. I'd love to weld. There's so many things that I can't do, or I shouldn't say that I can't do, but I haven't learned how to do yet, and that I want to learn. And maybe one day when I retire, I'll be able to sit down and learn all these things. There's so much fun stuff out there. And that's why, you just keep trying, and you just keep at it, and you can't beat yourself up. I mean, sometimes the cutest thing a kid will create is a total mess, but it has personality. And if something has personality, even if it's a mess, I love it. Just putting that out there. Abby B says, what was your first duct tape craft? Well, some of you guys already know this, and I kind of answered it in question number 1. My first official duct tape craft was a duct tape rose, and it was taught to me by an 8-year-old. I believe he was 8 years old at the time that I met him. That's my first craft, a duct tape rose made with house points on a pencil. That was my first craft. Alyssa J says, what is the date and time right now when you're reading this while filming? I love this. Okay, so today is September 7th, 2016, and it is 2:34 in the afternoon. How's that? Ella F says, what were your favorite top 5 crafts that you did? Okay, so this is so incredibly hard because like my top 5 crafts will be whatever I'm working on at the moment in time because I just love crafting because I'm crazy that way. But going back through like my website to try to refresh my memory, some of my favorites were, I love the pop-up groundhog. He's like one of my favorites. He can be a bunny, he can be a dog, he can be a cat, but my pop-up groundhog is one of my all-time favorites. I also love the plastic bag bunny. I love the plastic bag bunny. I know the plastic bags are taboo now in California, but I love the plastic bag bunny. I loved him. There's an egg sheep that I made that was inspired by somebody else's craft. I think it was Family Fun Crafts that made the egg sheep, and I saw it and I fell in love with the egg sheep. I'm also totally in love with doing pool noodle crafts right now. The Noodle Poodle, the pool noodle flower, everything that I'm making out of pool noodles right now, I love. Pool noodles are such a blast. Another one of my favorites is the mini donuts. And I did those at a Kauai party and OMG, fell in love, totally fell in love. They were so much fun to do and the kids had so much fun. And I got to do that video with Frankie, who is just a doll. So that is like one of my all-time favorites. And then am I up to 5? I think I hit 5. But one more to sneak in there. I love recycled crafts. So one of my favorite crafts that we have is it's the cap from a Slurpee cup and the cap from a coffee cup, and you put the two together and you can make a recycled snow globe, and I love that. Now, all of the links to all of those crafts will be down below, so you can check them out and say, hey, that's my favorite craft too. Olivia W says, are you flexible? And if so, what moves or gymnastics moves can you do? Oh my gosh, what a silly question, huh? Okay, here's the deal. I used to be so incredibly flexible, and I used to be a gymnast, and I used to dance, and I used to do all these things when I was much younger. Now that I'm 51 years old and have very creaky knees because I didn't take care of them all those years, I cannot do that stuff anymore. I'm a paddleboarder, and I am very flexible, but I'm not gymnastics flexible anymore, sad to say. So I think about the extent of the moves that I can do is probably forward and backward roll. And I used to be able to do like round off back handspring, back tucks. Not anymore. It's one of the sadnesses of life. Shaylin M says, were you ever obsessed with any band or group? Okay, so I used to love Elvis Costello. I've always loved Tom Waits. I loved Annie Lennox. But the only, this is gonna sound so crazy, but the only band I was ever really obsessed with, it's not really a band, but the only singer that I was ever obsessed with was Eminem. I know, everybody's cringing right now, but I've always, I've always loved his music and kind of been obsessed with his music. So anyway, I mean, if you were gonna say obsessed with something, but I love all kinds of music. I'm a big fan of music in general. But to answer that question, to be obsessed, Eminem. Do you play any instruments? I play the guitar. I play the guitar at my birthday parties, and I play a mean hokey pokey, let me tell you. Was there ever a time you regretted your career? No. I have never regretted my career choice. There have been times when I've been frustrated. There's been times when I've been upset. There's been times when I've been disappointed. But there has never been a time when I have regretted what I chose to do. My first career was an actress. I was an actress in New York City. My husband and I moved out to California. And when I moved to California, things changed, and I became a party planner. And I just kind of fell into this business, and I love what I do. I love with a passion what I do and what I get to do every single day. It's awesome. And that led to making the YouTube videos and the website and all that kind of stuff. And that is just like the icing and the whipped cream and the cherry on top of the cake. So although I've had frustrating times, I've never regretted my choice, ever. Kitty Bear 0079AJ asks, I don't know how you guys remember your handles. What is your favorite kind of pie? I love cherry pie. Cherry pie is my favorite kind of pie, followed very, 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 very closely behind by lemon pie, without any meringue or yucky stuff on top. Just plain old lemon pie. Tasty cakes, when I was a kid growing up in Pennsylvania, tasty cake lemon pie was my favorite pie, followed by a real homemade cherry pie. So those are my two. Kawaii Kayla 8 says, do you think your business will expand to other states? No. The answer to that is no, and I'll tell you why. We just do not have the time. As much as I love to do parties for everybody, I just don't have the time. And I happen to be a very serious control freak, which means that for me to let go and let somebody else run my parties for me in another place where I can't have any control over that, ain't gonna happen. So sad to say, you have to be in California if you want one of my parties. Squishy Toys asks, have you ever heard of Monster High? And what do you think about them? Have I heard of Monster High? Of course I've heard of Monster High. And Squishy Toys, I have done entire birthday parties around Monster High. What I love, see, I love horror movies. I'm like a horror movie freak. And so I love the fact that all of the dolls have like names like Frankenstein. I mean, I think those are really cool. I think that's cute. And I love all their little fashion. And I love their kind of funky hair and all that kind of stuff. I think, you know, Venus McFlytrap. I mean, there's just Ghoulia Yelps. I mean, there's great names. I love wordplay like that. My grandfather, my Pop Yoakum, he used to be a great punster, which means, you know, he used to come up with funny things that would mean one thing but sound like another. He was a great wordsmith, and I love that kind of wordplay. So Monster High, I think, is pretty, personally, I like Monster High a whole lot better than Barbie's. There you have it, guys. That brings the end to question and answer number 23. And if you want to see a 24, just write those questions down below because I will answer them as long as they have not been asked before. And if you do ask a question that's already been asked, I'll answer for you in the comments. So you will get the answer no matter what. For more great ideas, come and check us out at Sophie-World.com.